Okay, this is assignment 9 by Nicole Grimmer. Can we successfully teach all children? So we'll start off by the quote by Ron Edmonds that we were given. We can, whenever and wherever we choose, successfully teach all children whose schooling is of interest to us. We already know more than we need to do that. Whether or not we do it must finally depend on how we feel about the fact that we haven't so far. The biggest obstacles that I feel that I face are time and content restrictions. What I mean by that is, as teachers and educators, we have to cover all the TEKS or required to teach the lessons in a given amount of time. We have to cover all the material in order for our students to succeed on tests such as the STAR test. Being a special ed teacher, I feel that I'm even more pressured because of the extremely small class size I have. On average, I can have 2 to 3 students in my class at a time. These 2 to 3 students could and sometimes are in different class or grades, and they're certainly not on the same level, and nor do they learn the same. As I spread myself thin among the students, I do my best to teach all of their learning styles. As I do this, I see myself doing all I can to help my students interpret the meaning of the lesson. On Facet 2, Interpretation, on page 88 in Understanding by Design, it states that the object of interpretation is meaning, not merely a plausible account. Interpretation traffics in powerful stories, not abstract theories, for its insights. Understanding of this kind occurs when someone sheds the interesting and significant light on current and past experience. Well, if I can guide my students to relate to given material, to either a real-world experience or an experience that they might have had or someone they know have had or they have felt, then there's a much greater understanding of the content. Being at this very small school, small 1A school in a small town, I find it sometimes difficult to find experiences of certain topics, for math even, for them to relate to. And this again is where I find the time restraint of 45 minutes per class a problem. If I don't have an experience, or nor do my students, I would love to take the opportunity to stop what we're doing and use the technology we have at hand to research the topic and create more learning through technology. I love moments and getting the full concept by looking beyond just the big picture. So part 2 is a little harder for me. It was hard for me to think of a certain time as a learner that I was inspired to go beyond the stated learning objective. As a child or a former student, however, as an adult, I'm still a learner, and I find myself craving more knowledge and going beyond the expectation of just lessons in a text for my students. As an educator, I feel that we are molders of the students' learning, and it is our jobs to go beyond the state-mandated TEKS or given lessons. We as teachers are a huge influence on our students, and if we can get excited ourselves about learning and going beyond the learning, such as right now we're doing percent increase and decrease and interest and things, if we can get the students inside and real world examples for them, and we can show them and let them have a better perspective on math, they would then have the knowledge to ask and research questions, and it is so essential questions, and they have meaning. As on page 110 in Understanding by Design, I really like how they list out the intent of the questions that we need to be asking our students, and why the questions are asked, and why they must be asked, like I said, with intent. All questions must be meaningful, with the intent to keep their minds thinking and make connections of prior knowledge and experience. I find myself asking more and more questions, more open-ended questions, but after reading Chapter 5 of Understanding by Design, I want to challenge not only my students, but myself to ask more meaningful questions to further challenge my students and to get them to learn to crave for answers or knowledge. And I love this last one, no student fails who learns. Thank y'all for the time.